All right, so we built our team kind of based on the Marine Reconnaissance Team,
Sure.
the structure of our team. And we have, team leader, assistant team leader, communicator, medical provider, and we have Slack, man, these 5 things. Could you walk me through what a team leader is?
Yeah, so absolutely. The team leader is the number one in charge of the mission. On a reconnaissance team, he would be kind of the ground force commander. He's in charge of what the team is doing. And he's also kind of communicating with the higher ups of what the team is doing, keeping them kind of in the loop. So as far as relating that to like a church security team, you might picture the team leader of the security team is also directly involved with the pastor about what the church is doing for that day or the planned service and stuff like that. He's kind of he's directly talking to the pastor and then is also in charge of what the team is actually doing.
And that's his role, steering the ship.
That is his role, is steering the ship and communicating with higher.
It is essential for team leaders to have a command presence and remain calm while making decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those are a couple of traits that a team leader absolutely needs to have. You want to have that commanding presence just so that the team trusts you and has faith in your judgment of what actions to take for the team. And then a calm demeanor too. You have to remain calm in all situations and be willing to kind of annotate and dictate and communicate what you're trying to do and just keep the team organized, because freaking out is not going to help anybody.
Even in my life, even with currently now as a pastor with the church and different like committees or teams we have, I really set the temperature. So if I'm agitated, everyone's agitated.
Right.
If I'm calm, everyone's calm. If I'm having fun, everybody's having fun.
Right.
I set that.
Yeah. So you could kind of say the team leader is almost like establishing the culture of the team.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Cause whatever vibe he's got is probably the vibe that the rest of the team has. If he's calm, they're calm. If he's panicking, everyone else is likely to panic too.
The next thing, we have assistant team leader. Could you talk me through that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I spent 2 of my deployments as the assistant team leader. Assistant team leader is a bit of a thankless job, in my opinion, whereas the team leader is communicating with higher and determining the overall direction of the team. Mm-hmm. The assistant team leader is kind of carrying that out.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So he's like the right-hand man of the team leader. The team leader tells him what direction he wants the team to do or operate or go, and he makes sure that the team is doing that. The assistant team leader sometimes has to play that role of enforcer and make sure the guys are in line, and kind of acting and behaving and executing the way that they've been trained and are designed to do. And then outside of that, the assistant team leader is usually kind of responsible for all the like the weapons and communication and equipment utilized by the team. It's his role and responsibility to make sure he knows what everyone has and is carrying and make sure that that equipment is returned properly and utilized properly.
Okay. So like in the church security team, you have the team leader. He's just overall direction, overall command and control, coordinating with your pastor or whatever leader at the church would be. And then your assistant team leader sounds like that's your guy on the ground running everything.
Yeah, pretty much. He's kind of like the foreman. He's telling people where to go and what to take and how to operate.
Yeah, it actually sounds like, just a E5 responsibility in the military before you go out would be like, I check all my guys' ammo and all my guys that they have their medical stuff, that they got food for the trip, that they're squared away, that they actually have their plates in,
right.
Like all those different pieces.
Yep.
So like you're checking everything.
Yeah.
Overall. Number 3, the third position on the team is the communicator. Can you walk me through that?
Yeah. So in a reconnaissance team, the communicator would be the RTO, the radio transmitter operator. Mm-hmm. And what that person does is they're directly responsible for all the radios and radio equipment. And then they're responsible for, when we're on a patrol, setting that up and establishing a communication link with our higher headquarters.
Okay.
So what that might look like for a church security team is just making sure that all the radios are programmed the same, they're ready to go as far as being charged or having the proper batteries, and that they're distributed to the right people, which would probably be like the team leader, the assistant team leader, the pastor if he wants one, as well as the communicator. And the communicator's job should be like in the event of a situation, kind of effectively communicating what is going on and where it's going on to the team leader so that he can make the right decision.
Okay. So on a scene, that's your guy who's doing your observing and reporting, all the different pieces of that.
Yeah, as long as he's around and can find a way to be around, he needs to be reporting on that. And what's important for the communicator is to be able to kind of like effectively and precisely communicate whatever the scenario is that's going on. Because you need to actively relay the issue, but not do it in a way that it's just word garbage.
And so that would be something trained for him and the team.
Yeah, proper radio etiquette and short and concise communication is of the utmost importance.
Okay. And that we have command school or communication school for that.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, so people can get through that. Okay, number 4, the fourth person on the team is medical provider.
Yeah, so the medical provider should be the person who is the most comfortable providing medical service and has the most qualifications. If you're able to pull someone who has EMT experience or something like that can kind of render basic aid and treat someone until a higher echelon of medical care can get there, whether that be an ambulance or you get to a hospital or whatever. That person just needs to be proficient in all medical devices that the church carries, whether that be an AED or a simple trauma bag or anything like that. The medical provider should be comfortable and savvy with that, make sure the contents are organized and usable and ready to use them as needed.
Okay. And we have, like within our safety team, we have people who have some training with that. Like we have some firemen and some different things like that, but also they know exactly who in the congregation is a nurse or has like more extensive medical training. And they've already spoken with those people like, and gotten the go ahead. Hey, can I tap you on the shoulder if I have this situation? And then they also know where that medical bag is as well. So I think within a church, you can really build that out differently based on the skills of the people in your congregation. And then also you have, you also have that one person on the team and that's their concern. This particular job, does that person like sit back and like just wait for medical things? Is it like an Army medic where that's their main focus and that's really it? Or how does that work within the team? What's your experience with that in the Marine Corps?
So I would assume that every kind of situation is different. Like in a reconnaissance team, we had what are called SARCs, Special Amphibious Reconnaissance Corpsmen, and they go through an insane amount of training, and they're some of the most trained recon Marines around. They do the same missions as everyone else in the recon team is. Like they're still observing buildings and doing all that good stuff on patrols, but they're carrying extra equipment. And when a medical situation comes in, that is their primary role. Okay. Everyone knows it and everybody would go to them anyways because they have the most amount of training and they're super highly qualified.
Yeah.
But yeah, they still operate as recon Marines, but when the medical situation comes, they are the primary caretaker.
Okay. So this is someone on your team who can operate like everybody else, but their primary focus as soon as a medical thing happens is medical.
Is that medical thing, 100%. And I think that's the way it should go for a church security team as well. They're operating within the security team and their eyes on and alert and where they need to be. But the second a medical scenario occurs, whether that be a heart attack or a twisted ankle or whatever, then they are the one responding to that situation.
Okay. Makes sense. And then finally, you have the last team member, which is my personal favorite, is the slack man. Can you walk me through that?
Yeah, everybody likes the slack man. Usually the slack man in reconnaissance teams is kind of the newest guy to a unit or a team or whatever. And the reason for that is he's kind of a do-it-all guy. He learns from all the other billets, whether that be the medical provider or the communicators, the RTOs in reconnaissance, or the ATL. So the slack man is kind of getting good exposure to all of those different billets as he develops as a reconnaissance Marine and then progresses in his career. He is usually placed into whichever one he's strongest at. But so to begin with, he's kind of the jack of all trades. He could be assisting the medical provider. He could be assisting the communicator with getting radios to the right people or charging batteries or whatever. He's kind of all over the place and he doesn't have one specific job other than to help everyone.
So this is the guy, this is your gopher.
Yeah, he's a bit of a gopher. Runs around, does everything, doesn't have a specific home.
Okay. And so do they need to take direction, or immediately as something happens, would they respond to, like we have here in our situational analysis, like a child's reported missing, and then the slack man immediately begins going through bathrooms or something?
Yeah, I would say as his role develops and he becomes more comfortable within the team, he could kind of take on that initiative to do what he thinks is right. If you're a new guy to a team, I would probably wait for that the ATL or a communicator, someone higher in the team, to kind of inform you, hey, I need you to go do this at this time. Initiative is good, but it can be the wrong judgment too.
Okay, good. And so this is the gopher who cross trains and then moves up to all the different positions.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great starting point for anyone getting to a team because you get exposure to everything.
How long would you wait for the person to move to the next role?
Usually in a reconnaissance team, it would be after your first deployment. So you go through your workup as a slack man and you kind of remain in that billet throughout the deployment.
Yeah.
Say someone gets hurt or has to go home for some reason or injured or whatever, then perhaps the slack man is bumped up to ARTO or whatever role he needs to fill. But yeah, you would stay in that role for your first deployment.
Okay. So it'd be quite a few different situations at the church. So maybe 6 months to a year.
Yeah, I would say every situation is kind of different.
Yeah.